The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Whether she's walking the red carpet or doing interviews, you'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready. This is the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. I am super excited about my guest. We've had him on once before, and he is such an amazing guy, and everything he does is truly incredible. And not only that, he's so unbelievably talented. So I am ecstatic to have him on. So once again, we have Mr. Lloyd Maz. So hi, Lloyd. How are you?
Hey, I'm fantastic. It's so good to talk to you again.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing to talk to you. Like I said, I really believe you are such an incredible guy. And on top of that, your talent is just unbelievable. So really, it's an honor to have you back on again. Thank you so much for doing it twice.
Thank you. It's an honor to be on your show. I was so happy that you even wanted to interview me.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? I think everything you do is really awesome, and we have a lot of newer listeners and stuff. So for some of the people that might not have saw the last show, or for some new fans or whatnot, can you explain a little bit about yourself and what it is you actually do? Well,
my name is Lloyd Maz, and I create what I consider alternative experimental rap. I do play instruments and sing in my music, but I do rap as well. So it mostly falls into the rap category, but I created an anti-suicide movement called LOTL. It stands for Leaders of the Lost, and it's become a really cool outlet around the world for people to connect and make friends or have somebody to talk to, and just a community for people to help each other out.
Absolutely, and that's what really is cool about your whole community is, and your fan base and whatnot. It's more like a family type of thing, and it's very unique. And I don't think a lot of fan bases are like that. So, I think that says a lot about you to have a fan base like that.
It's been incredible, honestly. They've been the most supportive, wonderful people.
Oh yeah, and they were super excited about this interview too. So we got a lot of questions from them as well. Because they were really excited about it. And I want to talk a little bit more about Leaders of the Lost and your anti-suicide awareness and everything. What made you actually start that? Because my whole show, I started originally to bring positivity, and really my whole main focus originally was anti-bullying and stuff, and that, of course, expanded into suicide awareness and everything. So what inspired you to start such a movement? Because it's such a horrific thing that's going on, and unfortunately a lot of people are suffering from thoughts of suicide, and even worse, have attempted to or actually have committed suicide. So what made you start this movement?
It's actually a very personal thing to me. I myself have dealt with it my entire life. I was raised in a very weird environment, and I actually wasn't really supposed to live through my mother's pregnancy. So
oh, wow.
She had to be pumped with a lot of medication as far as estrogen, hormones, testosterone, and that definitely took a toll on the way my brain developed. So I do struggle with suicide, and I have my entire life. So I created this movement because as I made music for my outlet that helped me, more people came up to me over the years telling me how much my music has helped them or saved them, and I was so flattered that this outlet that I've found that has kept me going for all of these years, I'm actually passing that on to other people to the point where they're telling me I'm doing the same thing that music did for me, and music is my passion. So I was so flattered and honored by that. I thought, well, why don't I take it further? Why don't I try to do something that will really be able to help people beyond the music? Because not everybody can just put headphones on, as I had to do my whole life, and just be able to get through the pain of life through just the music. So I thought, all right, well, why don't I get these people who have the similar interest in my music and music like mine, and let them actually communicate with each other and have a whole community where they can just help each other and talk and just have friends.
That's so cool, and I think that's such an important thing to have a support system and stuff. And unfortunately, a lot of kids don't have a good family support system, or maybe they don't even have a family. So I think it's cool that you're bringing people that can relate to each other and help each other. And even though maybe they never even met in person, they have at least someone to talk to. That's such an important thing that gets overlooked a lot. And a lot of kids feel so alone. So for you to have something like that, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Absolutely. And one little comment on that, a lot of people think that some don't have a reason to feel as down as they get because of their life situation. They may have more than others, but a lot of people don't realize that sometimes you can't help it. It doesn't matter if you're the most rich or famous person. There can always be something inside that's making you feel like nothing's enough. You know, you could be the most fortunate person in the world, but sometimes your brain says otherwise, you know?
No, absolutely. And I that's exactly what I always say. I don't care how beautiful, how perfect, how rich, how famous, no matter what, everyone goes through struggles, and everyone, unfortunately, I think everyone has gone through some form of bullying as well, and it's just everything. And so it makes life very tough, and some people are a lot stronger than others and can deal with it and just it slides right off their back, but most people aren't like that, and it's difficult and it really gets to them. So to have that support system and you giving them the ability of that's I can't even explain how important that is to so many people. So that's truly awesome.
Of course, and it's been such an honor.
And so let's talk a little bit more about you. You are, like I said before, you are so crazy talented, and you do a million things. So what made you actually get into music and start doing this as a career?
Well, I grew up, it's a funny story. I grew up, and I was always the little kid in the backseat of the car who would sing everything on the radio. Even the commercials, like you have like, oh, this is WKSG, and they would sing something, and I'd even sing the commercials. No matter what came on the radio, my father, I remember he would drive me around wherever we were going, and I'd be in the back seat, and sometimes he'd have somebody else in the car, and he would point out the fact that I'm in the back seat singing no matter what came on the radio. So I feel like it was always something that piqued my interest. But as I got older and really had a lot of struggles within myself and with life, society, and the world, I really took a liking to music because I found that it made me feel a lot better, or at least helped me to relate to somebody else through either just the sound of the music or the words. It really helped me cope. So naturally, I wanted to get into music, and I was in a lot of bands, but eventually I'm more of like a loner type, so I wanted to make my own music, and I'm a very big poetry writer. So I got into the whole rap culture and just kind of tried to make it my own and do my own thing.
That's so cool. And I had to point that out too. Your lyrics and everything, they're so powerful and have such deep meaning, which a lot of music now doesn't, which is fine. But that's really cool about yours is it's very meaningful and it's very personal, and that's really a cool thing.
Yeah, that's actually one thing that it's a very double-edged sword, because you can pour your heart out into the lyrics of the song, and you want people to know what you're talking about so bad and how much it means to you, but that's not always going to get across to people 100%. A lot of people will take the lyrics the way that they're going to in their life, and that's the beauty of it. Somebody can hear lyrics you say that means so much to you and connect it to their life, and it means something completely different to them.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think also what's really cool about music is at different points of your life, it can mean different things to you as well. So it might mean something this week, but next year or 2 years from now, it might mean something completely different because how you're feeling and how your life is going. So that's so cool about music.
Exactly. I love it. Music is so universal, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And actually, speaking of which, why don't we go into your first song that you're going to play today, My Perfect Town. Why don't you explain a little bit about this song and what it means to you, or at least what you were thinking when you wrote it?
This song actually is such an important song. I was very impressed because I have, I'm on iTunes and Pandora Radio and like very major outlets, but I'm also on SoundCloud and AudioMac. And my AudioMac is actually an outlet that a lot of people who listen to me don't know about. So I actually released this song on AudioMac, and in less than a week, actually overnight, it got almost 10,000 plays. And
Wow.
that was all just from AudioMac, from people who aren't even fans of mine originally. So I was very excited about that. I didn't expect people to like the song that much, but it means so much to me, and I was so surprised at the outcome in less than a week. It has over 14,000 plays now, and that doesn't seem like a lot to a lot of people, but when you work on something that means a lot to you and you're not the biggest known artist and it gets that many plays in less than a week, let alone overnight, you just really sit back and go, wow, like that was trending on a website, on a major website, and I'm not that known. So for that to even happen is amazing. But this song actually is about people thinking I've already made it. I'm already in this crazy high position. They look at an internet presence and things around that, and they think, oh, he's doing great. He lives this glamorous life. But on the sidelines, you don't realize I'm actually struggling to pay my bills. And I actually struggle with a lot more things mentally, and I'm not living some glamorous life. I may have fans and really good support from people, but sometimes looks can be deceiving. It can seem way more than it really is. So this song I actually made is to touch base on that and kind of say that I'm here through the dark weather, and I hope you can be too, and I hope that when the time comes, you can understand this whole time hasn't been such an easy ride for me, and that if you're going to leave my side for whatever reason, for hearsay or whatever reason, if you're saying we're through, I guess I'll say the same thing to you, because people leave your life very unexpectedly, and sometimes it hurts so bad, but you have to get through it. Right. So that's really why I wrote the song.
That's awesome. And first of all, I don't think you give yourself enough credit. 14,000 plays is a huge amount of listens and stuff, and for it to be trending and stuff, that's a really big ordeal, and you should be proud of yourself, and that is a lot to most people. So, and if it's not a lot, they're crazy. So I mean, really, you should be so proud of yourself. That's awesome, truly awesome.
Thank you so much. I really am. Sometimes it's just, I don't know, it's very easy for me to just be humbled and understand there's so much more to come.
And I think that's really cool and honest of you, and we'll talk more about that, but let's go into the song. So here we go.
Get him to out, get him to out.
Feel that? Baby.
I know the decisions to you wasn't even that hard to choose. So if you're saying we're through, I guess I'll say the same.
doesn't shine in my perfect town. Everybody think I finally made it now, but I can't even pay my bills. Yet the way you make me feel, it's like I'm balling out. It was never about the money, but I'll ball then foul. Found this dream like how, you didn't like my style? Now my name's all around the world and I can't look back, pal. I'm forever grateful that my name's inside your mouth. Spread the word after you learn, a hint for when you're down and out. Yeah. LOTL, we a problem now. Said it from the beginning that I would be living my dream, so I don't see a way that I could ever back out. Talk that trash loud, then come and see me when you get your life figured out. Me, I'm just dying out, making music on my pain so much I shout it loud. And I wonder why it's so hard to figure me out. Like, what do you think of me? Am I perfect to the T or have I let you down? Did I bring a smile to your face or make you frown? Either way, I love you more than I can show, and I just gotta make it known that I am human. Cause there's a lot of shit that you don't know. Things I gotta go through so they can help me grow. Things that you wouldn't believe behind the scenes of the show they call my life. Hoping I fall sitting there right in the front row. They don't know me though, looking at me like I'm spitting with a biased flow. So I gotta go on that road till I come back home. And they're singing all my songs at all my sold out shows. Because it's everything that I ever needed inside the words that make these songs that mean so much that I will forever bleed it. The show ain't over, folks, so keep your ass seated. I'ma show you that a real motherfucker means it when he says this is all he has. When you're willing to just pack your bags and head out to a new life stat. Fuck anything in the way, don't need that crap. Maybe we can start again the day that I come back. But I don't know if I can face that road. Now I'm used to being all alone. Don't really know if I can find your heart inside a place that I once called home. A part of me dies inside behind my eyes, will never be the same again. And I'm hoping after everything that's happened, you still wanna be my friend.
I'll say the same things to you, but I've been dreaming something like this ever since I can remember. So tell me, is the weather something to stop pushing through?
And we are back with Lloyd Maz. That was an awesome song, Lloyd. Like I said, I think your music and everything, you are just so crazy talented. So I love that. That was great.
Thank you so much. It means the world to me.
Of course. And so I really wanted to talk about what you said earlier, about, like, I agree completely. Everyone thinks, like, you have fans or whatnot, and so you must be super famous and super rich and everything's great but it's not like that, unfortunately. And I think that's really cool how honest you are about that, because I think especially social media, it's so easy to glamorize someone's life and think it's so perfect, but when you're actually living it and stuff, it's difficult. So I think that's really cool how honest you are about that, and I really want to talk a little bit more about that, if you don't mind.
I would love to. I love the realness of it, and I love being able to take a mask off that it seems people like to put on you without you actually wanting to come off in that way.
Absolutely. And people, like, I think a lot of people think you make a lot of money like that, and you're all of a sudden crazy rich. But me personally, myself, I know I'm very having a lot of struggle to make it and stuff, and I also have a normal job, and I'm doing this also, so it's very tough. And I imagine probably the same way for you. It's a difficult thing because it's not easy to be a musician at all by any means.
Yeah, it's very hard, especially when you're still independent, because I use a music service where I distribute my music, and it actually takes 2 months for any money made off of music to cycle through from whatever day any single purchase is made. So wow. It's not like I can put a record out and I don't know, 500 people buy the record, and it's like, oh, he just made $500 in 2 seconds. No, it takes 2 months from every time somebody clicks that purchase button. So I could 2 months later get $30, and then it's so on and so forth.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That it sucks, but that shows how passionate you are about it. That you keep doing it and you keep doing what you love, and how much you care about your fans, because it is a struggle and it's not easy. So I think that's really awesome. That you're being honest about this, but you're also so passionate about it, and I think your fans can even appreciate that even more. And see how great you are, because you're such a great person.
I hope they feel the same. I mean, I'm a very misunderstood person, and because I do so many live streams, I've actually gone back and studied myself and looked at myself after hearing some criticism and some things that have been said about me. I thought, well, maybe I should go back and actually look at myself, see how I come off. Because I'm normally a very understanding person. That's why it's hard for me to just get angry, or I'm usually the moderator when people argue or fight, because I'm able to understand both sides and try to figure it out. So I really studied myself and saw things that people said about me, and look at video of myself and said, wow, I can really understand why somebody thinks that about me. So sometimes it's really good to check yourself and just understand where people are coming from.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool that you can look at yourself, because everyone needs to grow and stuff, and no one's just born this perfect human being that's always great and right. And so it's important to take a step back, and that's great that you realize that and mention that, for sure.
Absolutely, you have to take other people's feelings and the way they view you into consideration. Especially if you want to be some known figure out in the world. You don't want people to think things about you that aren't true. And some people will, and sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. But you can at least try,
Of course. And we're getting a lot of questions from fans. I'm trying to sort them all out here. I know we had Jack. He submitted a couple. So why don't we get into some of the fan questions? We have a lot more, but we'll get into a couple. So a guy named Jack said, "Who inspired you?"
Who inspired me? Oh, actually, I grew up listening to a lot of older style music because of my father. Bands such as Yes, Rush, Journey. A lot of things you couldn't even imagine. But one person, I grew up, this really is a touchy subject that actually made me step back, but Chester Bennington recently passed away. He took his own life from Linkin Park. He was the lead singer. And that's actually something that really resonated with me, because his words, since I was such a young kid, they always connected with me. And as I got older, I would listen back to those same words and realize finally what he was really saying. After I've gotten to go through so much, it really made sense when I got older what he was really saying and how I could connect that to my life, to the point where I felt on such a personal level with him, and I understood so much of what he was saying. And when he took his life, I felt like I understood so much why he did. And that's something that actually, it did put my head in a little bit of a dark place, because I thought to myself, well, I could become as big as him and make an impact as much as he did, but am I still going to feel the same? Am I going to still feel the same that he did at that point? Is this all going to make me better, or is it going to make me better for a little bit, and then in the end still have the same result? Am I still going to feel the same as him, to the point where I want to leave the world like that? So it's really something that took a big toll on me. But Chester Bennington and other people who have made lyrics that really make me connect that deeply, those are the people who inspire me. I have a lot of influences, whether it be rap, rock, indie rock. There are so many different influences I could tell you about. It would be an endless list. But really it comes down to the people who say the things in their music, or just make music that sounds a certain way enough to make me think about life, think about what's gone on with myself. Those are the people who really inspire me, and I try to feed off their energy, whether it be negative or positive, and try to make myself better from that.
Very cool. And actually, building upon that question, we got a question from Alyssa. And she said, do you have a favorite artist? So I think you just kind of answered that, but what do you have to say for that one?
Actually, it's funny to mention. Recently, I've actually, I don't want to make it too much about what I'm going through, but recently I've actually been going through one of the darkest times I feel I ever have. And it's been very difficult lately, but I've been listening to a lot of The Used and Under Oath. And it's funny, when you get really down to the point where you're questioning what you're doing here and what's worth it, those are the bands. When you listen to those bands in that state of mind, you're listening to those bands for a reason. When you're in the state of mind where you're trying to figure out what's worth it in life, it really shows who you actually turn to when you're at your lowest. And The Used and Under Oath have been such an outlet for me recently when I'm feeling very down. And it's really cool because The Used, they have a line in one of their songs. It says, if you feel like dying, you might want to sing. And that line alone, when I was younger, in one of their songs, just alone, is actually a line that made me want to pursue music, because I did go through suicidal thoughts my entire life. So he said, if you feel like dying, you might want to sing. So I was like, wow, that is so powerful. This person that I'm listening to who's saying that, like, that's so huge. And I actually went to their concert for the first time about 2 years ago in Philadelphia. And it lifted my spirits more than you could understand, because that's a band that inspired me to even create music in the first place. But when I actually went to their show, I ran into at least 4 to 5 different people who recognized me and wanted to take a picture with me. So I'm like, wow, this band that actually is one of the main reasons I created music. I'm at their show for the first time after all these years, the first show I've ever got to see them perform, and people know who I am as a musician. That's literally incredible.
That is, and I'm sure that was a very cool thing, and you truly did deserve it, because you are such an amazing man, and you're so talented, and you're so deep and meaningful and honest and raw, and that's really cool and rare, and that makes you a really special person. So I'm sure that was a great thing to happen, and I'm happy it happened for you.
Absolutely, it was life-changing for me.
And why don't we talk about your next song that we're actually going to play, Say It. Why don't you talk a little bit about this one and what it's about?
This is actually, I actually produced this as well, because I do work with other producers, but I do make my own beats or just instrumentals with real instruments. But this song's actually, it sounds a little more dark, but it's more so about, it's a little bit hard to explain. It's more so about my own struggles, my own suicidal thoughts, but explaining the fact that this darkness is what fuels my creativity. You can either get so dark that you can't move, you can't even get yourself to do the things you like to do, which for me is creating music. But sometimes, or most of the time, that darkness is actually what fuels your creativity. So there's actually one line in the song where I say, I admit I am the king wearing black suede. And when I say black suede, I'm actually referring to depression. I kind of put black suede into a visual perception of depression, and I'm admitting that I'm a flawed human being that deals with depression, and I do struggle with that. So I'm saying, I admit I am the king wearing black suede. Like, I am a person here who can be broken down just like everybody else. No matter how positive I may put things out to the world and try to help other people, I still have my own demons over here that I fight with.
Yeah, that's awesome. So why don't we go into it, and then we'll go into a quick commercial break. But here is Say It by Lloyd Maz.
Sad and normally I'm just ready to die, but it's exactly that feeling that keeps me moving. It's funny how suicidal ties really keep me alive. And I will fight cause I am the one that they call the leader of the lost. I'm just telling you for what I do there is a cost. I try to run away but depression is my boss. I'm not alone when I can feel the reaper next to me. I'm not the dog that keeps me in a state of ecstasy. Come save me, come slipping out. Come save me, a failure now. Am I the only one that feels the rush when I fall down? A sense of madness gets me high, I'm never coming down. You say it loud, you say it loud, you say it loud. You say it loud, you say it loud, you say it loud.
And we are back with Lloyd Maz. Once again, that was an incredible song, Lloyd. Say it, very powerful and deep and very personal. And I really enjoyed it a lot. And I think a lot of people enjoy that song, definitely.
Thank you so much. I get a little nervous sometimes when I produce my own instrumentals because I don't think I'm the best producer. I get really meaning when I create an instrumental. So I've never been one of those people that can make beats and sell them because every time I make a beat, it ends up coming directly from me, from my heart and how I feel. So I always hear the beat that I make and I want to make something out of it because it means a lot to me. So it's hard.
Well, I don't think you should be embarrassed or anything or shy about it because you are very talented and you're an excellent singer. And what's also really cool is you're words are so deep and meaningful, but it's awesome because you can understand them. And I'm not trying to put down other artists and stuff, but a lot of times it's hard to understand what artists are saying. But you can actually understand what you're saying, and it makes it more impactful. And I really think that, and I think that's awesome.
Absolutely. That's so wonderful.
Yeah, so don't be shy or embarrassed or anything about that. You're so amazing and incredible, and you should be so proud of yourself and everything you've accomplished. And not only that, but all the people you are helping. You're truly changing so many lives, and we've gotten so many questions from fans and stuff that you have truly just impacted. So that's a really
so
cool
awesome.
thing.
I was hoping people would send questions in. I was like, man, I hope a lot of people send questions in. I hope people just don't overlook this interview right now because I want them to hear it.
Oh, no, definitely. No, we had a lot of people. And speaking of which, I think this is a perfect question right now, especially what you're just talking about. We had a question from Tori, and she said, what advice do you have for people going through a tough time right now?
Honestly, it's such a good question. Whoever said that, you said Corey said that?
Tori. I know, it sounds like Corey.
Sorry, I'm sorry about that. I'm
No.
There's a lot of Corys. No, Tori. I think I know who that is exactly, actually. And it's such a good question right now because, like I had previously released, and I'm not ashamed of it, I myself am going through a very dark time right now. There's a lot going on that I won't get into, but that question is so relevant, and I'm so glad it was asked. Honestly, I've known this my whole life, but especially now I've been doing it. You really have to grasp onto anything that makes you happy whatsoever, even if it's for a couple of seconds. And I actually have a really good friend who said something to me the other day that really spoke to me. And she had said to me, I understand you're going through a rough time, but I will always be there and do something that will make you smile, even if it's for a second, and after that second's gone, you're back to feeling how you were. As long as I can make it happen at all, just for a second, it's worth it. So that's like, that touched me, honestly, because it's really important when you feel so down, you need to grasp onto anything that's going to make you stray away from that, and find the things in your life that are making you feel that way, and do what you can to stray away from them. I myself, I have issues where things that bring me joy sometimes are also the things that are bringing me down the most. So it's almost, I love saying this, it's that double-edged sword where it's like, okay, this thing makes me happy, but at the same time it's breaking me down. So where do I go from there? Do I stop that thing, lose the joy, and be very sad about it for a little bit, but eventually get better? Or do I let myself sit here feeling like I'm burning over it? And obviously we all know the very obvious answer to that question. But sometimes, no matter how hard it is, you have to do what's best for you. If you ever want to get out of that darkness, you have to do things you don't want to do. And it may not be the easiest thing in the world, but in the end, it's going to finally make you be able to be at peace again.
Definitely. That's awesome. I really like that. Very unique. I never heard anything. I really like that. That's great advice. And we had someone named Alex said you posted about having a song stuck in your head that you've been playing over and over again, and I guess you posted it yesterday. So what song was it?
God, I love these questions. These questions are so wonderful. And actually, I'm actually on my computer right now looking up the year the song came out.
Oh.
Because I know it's an older song. And, okay, it was released in 2002.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not the oldest song, but it's pretty old compared to a lot of other songs. It's actually When the Sun Sleeps by Under Oath.
Oh.
I really connect with that song. It's really about the way that I took the song, and this is what I go back to all the time, you take songs the way you're going to take them, even if the artist meant it in a different way. But some of the lyrics are very obvious to point in the direction that the song is mainly about being sad over losing somebody that you loved. Mainly in a relationship, you can tell. But this song recently, I have had on repeat. Even though it's an old song, this is such a monumental song for the band that recently got together again after they broke up, which is Under Oath. And the song is When the Sun Sleeps. And it's such a powerful song. It's a little bit screamo-ish, so if you're not into that, it might be a little hard for you to grasp to. But the words alone and the instrumental they make you feel, and they just make you think. And if you're going through something where you've had to let go of somebody or lose somebody very important to you, it's just such a good song to connect to and realize that you're not alone going through something like that. So I've really been listening to it for the past 5 days straight. It's just been the only song I want to hear, honestly.
No, and I think a lot of times everyone goes through a phase where, for about a week or so, you can't stop listening to a certain song, and it really speaks to you, and that's how you know it's a great song and a very powerful song. And even though it is years old, it's not like crazy old, but it's a few years old, and for you to keep listening, it shows it's a very powerful and deep song to you. So that's awesome.
Of course, and it kind of sucks because I wanted to, after I expressed that in a status, I figured people were wondering what song I was referring to, and it sucks because I wanted to play it so bad on the live stream, but I can't play songs on my Facebook. I always get in trouble for copyright if I play other people's music. So it sucks because I really wanted to open up and express that song to people and explain why it meant so much to me, but I didn't have a way to play it really for people.
Well, now at least people know what song it is, so that's good. And then they can look it up on their own, so that's good. And we had Kristen write in, and she said, what's your favorite song of yours?
Oh, my favorite song of mine? Oh, wow. As I go through my iTunes real fast. Man. I mean, it's been 10 years that I've been doing this, so there are a lot of songs, but just so I'm not holding everybody up, I am going to find one that's very meaningful. Honestly, I think one of my favorite songs would have to be Through to You, Beyond the Blue, because it's actually about a time in my life where I was so down that I had tried to take my own life. And to me, it's one of the most poetic and well put together flows lyrically that I've ever done on a song. And I feel like it's one of the most relevant songs pertaining to my anti-suicide movement, because when you hear that song, you hear how vulnerable I was within the lyrics that I wrote for that song. And to this day, and my whole career, no matter what I make, Through to You, Beyond the Blue will always be a song that's one of the absolute deepest songs I've ever made.
That's awesome. Awesome. And we have a couple more questions. We have Courtney ask, how do you stay so positive?
That's such a funny question. Not funny as in bad or anything. It's a funny question right now because I'm actually, in my opinion, one of the least positive people that I've ever met. And it's not really because I don't see the beauty in the world, but I'm so good at seeing the dark things in the world and what's so wrong in the world with society and people, how they act, what they do. I'm a firm believer in individualism and not being judged by your skin color or as a whole. It's what you do as an individual that'll define you, and what you do behind closed doors is really what defines you, not what you put out to people and show to people about you. It's really what you do when nobody's looking that shows who you are. And you're the one that has to pass judgment on yourself and decide what to do with it, because if you're doing it behind closed doors, clearly nobody sees it but you. So I'm able to be positive and put positivity out to the world because I see how dark the world actually is and can be. And a part of me, I don't know why I was born this way, and I'm not trying to make myself look like some saint or anything, because I'm not. I'm a flawed human being. But at the end of the day, I have a pretty pure heart. So that's why I have so much difficulty in this world, and a lot of times feel like I don't want to be in this world, because I see how unpure it is, that it hurts me too much. And sometimes it's just such a struggle for me. So I'm the type of person that even if I'm feeling terrible, I want to do something to put positivity out there and try to make some type of change. Even if I feel like there's no hope for myself, I want to make some type of positive change. Like, I mean, just the other night, I was, like I said, I've been going through one of the roughest times ever currently. But as I'm driving somewhere last night, I saw somebody walking home, or I assumed walking home, and it looked like they had a long walk ahead of them because of the area. So I stopped and I said, "Hey man, do you want to ride? I'm not trying to be a weirdo. It just looks like you have a long walk ahead of you." He said, "You know what? I'm coming home from work. I'm only going to the Dunkin' Donuts," which was still a little bit of a hike, honestly. And I said, "Well, you know what? I'm sorry. Like I didn't mean to bother you. I wasn't trying to be weird. I really just was trying to be nice. I saw you, and I literally had to turn around because I don't like to see somebody walking. I'm driving in a car, and you're walking."
Right.
So that alone shows that I may be in a little bit of a better position than you, and that kind of hurts my heart. So I completely turned my car around and went out of my way. He had headphones on. I beat that. I'm like literally trying to get this guy's attention. But that's just how I am. And it's like a blessing and a curse to me, honestly, because it's really nice to have a kindness towards people and a pureness about you. But at the same time, it makes it so much harder to live in a place that isn't like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not the most positive person, but I try to be purposely because of the fact that I know how much positivity isn't in the world. So if I can put at least a little bit more out there, then that's great.
That's awesome. And we have another question from Jack from earlier. He said, will you come to Toronto?
I would love to come to Toronto. I've had the opportunity to actually come to Toronto, I guess about a year ago, but there have been so many things going on in my life that I couldn't take the opportunity. My funds right now aren't really at the place to where I could actually come to Toronto, but I'd love to. I've actually been to Canada once when I was a lot younger, and I found it to be such a pretty place. Off subject, their money is like the prettiest looking money I've ever seen. It's just so colorful, and they have like these little see-through parts, and I'm like, wow, I wish American money looked like that.
Yeah, ours is boring.
But no, I would love to come to Ontario, Canada. It's a very beautiful place. I don't know how I can really arrange that right now to where I can come there and like, play a show or whatever the case may be. But I definitely will be there. I just really don't have a time frame. I wish I did, but until I get my own life together, I don't really know when I'll be there. But it's not really a case of if I'll ever be there. I will definitely be there. I just can't really say when.
Gotcha. No, and I completely understand. Now, are you planning on going on tour or doing anything soon?
I recently was going to do a tour, but unfortunately when it came down to it, I did not have enough funds to do it, no matter how bad I really wanted to do it, because that's one thing for the heart when you're in a bad place. Just getting up and going, whether it be jumping in the car and just driving somewhere far away, or just going on a tour or having an experience in different places. That's something that's so good for the heart when it's not feeling right. But as soon as I can, I would love to go on tour. I'm actually currently waiting on a contract from a record deal I had been offered. And I've turned a few down because I just knew they weren't right for me. But Lil Beats, who is one of the most famous producers in rap, in my opinion, he actually offered me a record deal to his label, and I believe it's going to be a joint contract with Warner Brothers. So he actually reached out to me recently and sent me a bunch of beats and said, "Hey, let's work, make songs." And I've already had a meeting with him and his entire label at his studio. So I've just been waiting, but he finally got back to me recently, and we actually made a couple of songs together that I wish I could have sent to you, but I wasn't sure if I had permission to do it. So I unfortunately didn't get to send those to you as much as I would love for those two songs to be played. But I'm sure once that record deal actually goes through, tours will just kind of be a very common thing at that point. But it just really sucks. I don't have a timeline for people. I really wish I did, because if I had a timeline for people, that would mean I knew what was going on.
Well, we have to end the show soon, which really sucks because we're just getting into everything. But why don't you go over everything, where people can follow you, get a hold of you, buy your stuff, everything, and then we'll talk about your last song that we're going to play, My Home. So why don't you tell everyone where they can go follow you?
Absolutely. Well, my name is Lloyd Maz. It's spelled Lloyd Maz. I actually have an official website, WWDB.com. And if you go on there, it has all my important social media on there. But it's the same thing on Facebook, facebook.com/Lloyd Maz, or just search it. It's the only one with the verified badge, so you know it's me. But yeah, really, honestly, that's really it. I mean, I'm on iTunes. I'm on all the major platforms. So if you just Google that name and spell it correctly, it all comes up, you know?
It should pop up. Awesome. And so we will play your last song, but real quick, I just want to say next time, hopefully we will have you on the show again. If you're up for it, I would love to have you on again. And then hopefully by then, too, you could definitely play those two songs. I'd really love to hear them. So.
Absolutely. I would love that. And I hope next time I'll actually be in the studio with you.
Oh, yes. I would love to. If you ever come to Vegas, we will make room anytime. Just please let us know. And
of course.
Thank you. And why don't we go into your last song, My Home? And it's actually instrumental, so why don't you talk a little bit about this?
That's an instrumental that I made that I put out as a thank you because I've been going through a rough time, and people have actually donated some money to try to help my finances out. So it's a song I've been holding on to for a while because I wanted to add more to it and actually add the words. But I decided to put it out as a thank you because so many people have been asking me to put this song out, just the instrumental itself, because the way that it sounds, it's good enough, honestly, without the words. It's just something you can just put on and just close your eyes and listen to, you know? So I think it's important for people sometimes to be able to hear just music itself and not even have to worry about what words are being said. You can hear this and actually take it any way you want to, not even think about what the artist was saying. What did he mean by these words? Just take it as you will. Take the sound, the actual sound of the music itself, and just feel it and put it to yourself.
That's awesome. I really like that. Well, thank you so much again for being on. Truly incredible honor, and hopefully next time you will be in studio. That'd be great. That'd be absolutely great.
It's always been an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, of course. And everyone, please go check out everything he's doing, and please go support him. As you guys can obviously tell, he is such an amazing guy, and I love all his songs, and more importantly, the message that he's sharing. So please go check out everything. Go support him. And we are going to play his last song, and then that is all we have. So thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, never give up, always believe, and you'll achieve. Thank you, and God bless.